Sudheer. I teach economy, essay, society, and anthropology here. Since you started your preparation recently, we'll give you an approach to economy, okay, and for both prelims and mains. Generally, the question related to economy is what to study. How to study, and then let us focus on what to study. Generally, in prelims, for any subject, whether it is geography, history, etc., people say focus on the syllabus. If you look into syllabus, as far as economy is concerned, examiner has defined it very vaguely. Okay, unlike mains, whereas in mains, syllabus is well defined. And after looking into the syllabus and looking into PYQs, you get to know what to read and how questions are asked. But as far as prelims is concerned, have you gone through the syllabus? Achha, what is the syllabus for economy prelims? According to examiner, examiner says, economic and social development. Okay. Apart from this, he says sustainable development, inclusion, poverty, and social welfare and schemes. But do you get questions only from these topics in prelims paper? If you go through previous year papers, it will blow your mind. Why? There are many topics which are not covered here. Then what should be the syllabus? As I said, for prelims or mains, you need to understand the syllabus. You need to go through previous year questions. Only then you understand what to read. So this is the question we are trying to answer. In this case, apart from the syllabus mentioned by UPSC, you're supposed to read national income accounting. What do you study here? You study about gross domestic product. You study about gross national product. You study about purchasing power parity. And you study about methods of GDP calculation. And then you study about real GDP. And you try to study about nominal GDP. So these things are not mentioned by the examiner. Okay, so this should be the first topic, national income accounting, in which you study GDP, GNP, NDP, NNP, purchasing power parity, etc. Then you need to go through inflation. What is inflation? Rise in price. Increase in price is inflation. That could be increase in price. Then monetary policy, and then fiscal policy, and then banking. In banking, what do you study? You study functions of RPI, and you study structure of banking in India, and various other topics. So this is the fifth point. I mean, fifth syllabus line. Apart from this, what else you study? Fiscal policy. Seventh, you study taxation. Within this, you also cover budget, the budget process, types, etc. And next, you study external sector. What do you mean by external sector? You study foreign direct investment, you study foreign portfolio investment, you study balance of payment. Likewise, there are many topics here. So all these things were not mentioned by UPSC. As I said, we'll begin with national income accounting, and then we start with inflation, monetary policy, fiscal policy, banking, taxation, external sector. Apart from this, you need to focus on capital market. In the context, we also study about financial markets, apart from this, we need to study agriculture, we need to study industry, we need to study infrastructure, we need to study international institutions. When I say international institutions, I mean it is World Bank and its associates, International Monetary Fund, World Trade Organization. These two are called as Bretton Woods twins. Okay. So this is a lengthy list of syllabus which was not mentioned by UPSC for prelims examination. Apart from this, some miscellaneous topics like cryptocurrency, fungible token, these, that, etc., UPI, etc. So the first thing, the question related to what to study, I have answered by giving you the lengthy list of the topics which are important for prelims. Now, after looking into the syllabus, since I have micro listed the syllabus to you, go home and check for PYQs in prelims paper related to economy. Then you'll get to know what to study, and then the next question is how to study. Okay? How to study. Answer to this question is never study anything beyond its utility. What do you mean by beyond its utility? That means to what extent you're supposed to read a topic and to what extent you need to think deep about the topic. That you must understand. How do you understand this? I'll answer another question also in the context of sources. You get to know how to study if you attend a class, and sources are class notes. Those people who want to prepare on their own, start with NCRT, which class 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. In 12th, read only macroeconomics. Now, what do you mean by NCRT reading? This will give you conceptual clarity. You get to know what is national income, you get to know what is gross domestic product, you get to know what is investment, what is credit, what is increase in price, what is inflation, what is debt, who is a debtor, who is a creditor. All kinds of terminologies and concepts are understood from NCERT. So this is your primary source. Acha. So this is your primary source. Then class notes is your secondary source. Why class notes is important? Because whatever that is not covered in NCERT, we cover in the class, and in the class the focus would be purely on the syllabus lines I have listed just now. I have given you the syllabus, right? So the focus will be on those things, and here we'll give you conceptual clarity. I'll give a question and we'll discuss that question so that you get to know how the classes here will be in the future. Okay, next. And I'll give you some examples to understand the concept. I'll give you some notes, and all these things will help you to revise and practice. These are secondary sources. Primary source is NCERT, secondary source is class notes. In class notes, you'll get concepts, you'll be given examples, read the concepts, revise it, and then practice it in test series. Apart from this, tertiary source. You're supposed to read budget document. Okay, you're supposed to read economic survey. You're supposed to read reports given by Niti Aayog, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, etc. And at times you're supposed to read Yojana, and then you're supposed to read newspapers like Indian Express, Live Mint. The list is very long, but are we supposed to read everything every day? The answer is no. Say for example, you are reading Indian Express. How do you know that this particular editorial is useful for exam? You're supposed to memorize syllabus. The moment you memorize syllabus, what happens? Whenever you're reading Yojana, you understand whether it is required or not. Any newspaper, any particular piece of article in newspaper, you get to know whether this is required or not. And as far as reports also concerned, go through the syllabus lines. In budget document and economic survey, read it selectively. Don't read the entire document published, or don't read the entire economic survey. You need to go selectively. Now, again, coming to sources. What is the mistake done by students in general? Students commit a very fundamental mistake by doing what? In market there are many books available and they buy them, and then they end up learning nothing. For example, people say you can buy Dutt and Sundaram or Mishra and Puri or Uma Kapila or MA Igno material. These sources are not meant for UPSC, rather they are meant for doing MA economics. And appearing for UPSC, the objective is not to do MA economics. Therefore, don't buy them. Then what should you be buying? In the market, Ramesh Singh textbook is popular. Then Vivek Singh, Sanjeev Verma, Nitin Singhania. So there are some books available. Okay. If you want, you can pick any one Read it selectively. Is this sufficient? No. These books are very helpful in mains. But for prelims, as I said, you need to get conceptual clarity. Which books offer you conceptual clarity? Apart from NCRT, there is something called Shankar Ganesh, a book written by an IRS officer, Shankar Ganesh. This is useful to get a conceptual clarity, and that will help you in prelims. Okay, so this is the lengthy list of syllabus. Then there are some myths associated with economy preparation. Students have got several doubts in their mind. Like what? Economy is technical in nature, very technical. The answer is no. But you feel, and this is the reason why you're scared of economy. Then lot of data need to be memorized. Again, the answer is no. Then, are we supposed to ignore data? Again, the answer is no. Then, what should be important and what should we memorize as far as data is concerned? There is something called core data. What do you mean by core data? It is about your GDP growth rate. It is about your inflation. It is about your poverty rate. It is about unemployment rate. It is about investment, etc. So hardly you're supposed to memorize some 10 to 15 facts, not more than this. Then most of the students thinks that current affairs are enough for prelims exam economy. Answer is no, it is not enough. Then some say NCRTs are enough. Again, the answer is no. Then what you're supposed to do? You need to read current affairs plus NCRT plus class notes. If you're preparing on your own, current affairs, NCRT plus standard textbook. When I say current affairs here, what all sources I have mentioned in this context, tertiary source, they form part of current affairs. Then how to score good in economy. Economy conceptual understanding takes time. Unlike history, where it is just like a story, you listen to it, you understand, and you remember it. In economy, things are not like that. If you understand concepts, if you revise them, economy will be the easiest module in entire preparation. But if you don't have conceptual clarity, if you don't come to class regularly, if you don't revise class notes, and if you don't practice questions, then it becomes very difficult. Therefore, it takes time. You need to learn the concepts, then revise them multiple times. 3-4 revisions are necessary, and then practice test. If you do these things, generally in prelims, how many questions are there in GS paper? 100 questions. From economy, anywhere between 15 to 20 questions are asked. If you do these things, if there are 20 questions asked, you will be answering 18 out of them without any difficulty. Two questions, let us consider they are bouncers like in cricket. Okay, you don't know anything about those two questions. 18 into 2, 36. What is the qualifying mark these days? 80 or 86. That means look at the role played by economy marks in your prelims qualification. If you want to qualify prelims, you need to focus on economy. This is easy and this will help you to qualify prelims easily. The reason being, it is having limited concepts. Focus on the conceptual understanding, revise them, practice questions, then you'll get a strong conceptual hold in the entire syllabus. Then, apart from these things, as far as previous year questions are concerned, let us discuss how to apply the concept and how to interlink different things in economy. Though we are not done with any of economy, we did not start, I'll give you an example of how you need to understand the question. The question is, if inflation is increased, debtor benefits, creditor benefits. Okay, this is a question. Options are 1 only is right, 2 only is right, both the statements given are right, D, none are right. Okay, this is a question. So we need to answer this. Now, identify keywords in the question. Inflation, increase. Inflation is a concept. What is inflation? Inflation definition is increase in price of goods and services over a period of time is inflation. What do you mean by this? Let us try to break down the definition of inflation into an example. So today the date is 4th July. This marker price is 100 rupees. But 4th January 2023, the marker price is 50 rupees. What happened in these 4 months and 7 months or 6 months? Price increased, it doubled. At times it may increase to 55, 51, it may decrease to 48, whatever it is. So in the example for our convenience, from 50 rupees to 100 rupees, the price increased. What do you call increase in price? Inflation. So this is about understanding the concept. Examiner has given a condition. What is the condition? Inflation is increasing. Now, examiner says debtor benefits, creditor benefits. What do you mean by benefit here? Profit. Okay. Now, we need to understand the keywords. Who is a debtor? Who is a creditor? Let us consider A and B. A has taken 100 rupees from B. A has taken 100 rupees from B. Who is a debtor? Who is a creditor?
B is creditor.
B is a creditor. Very good. Creditor means one who lends money. One who lends money, or as you said, one who gives money. Who is A? Debtor. Who is debtor then? One who borrows money or one who takes money, right? So we have got clarity over the four words in inflation, debtor, creditor, benefits. Okay, now let us come to the example. A, B. B is a creditor, A is debtor, right? So today, July 4th, B has given A 100 rupees as a loan. A went to Ratnadeep supermarket. A purchased 10 apples. Fine. August 4th, A returned his money. This is called he paid back. Okay. B again went to Ratnadeep. But this time he got only 8 apples. A, after taking 100 rupees from B, went to supermarket and got how many apples? 10. A returned money to B after some time. Okay? And B, taking the same money, went to same Ratnadeep, purchased the same variety of apples. But this time he got only 8. What happened? What happened? When you spend 100 rupees a month ago, you got 10 apples. When you spend the same amount now, you got 8 apples. What is happening to apple price?
Increased.
Increase in price is called. That means we see there is inflation. Who benefited? Debtor. Why? For the same price, he got more goods. For the same price, he got less goods. What is the conclusion? For the same money, more goods are consumed by A. For the same money, less goods are consumed by B. A is debtor, C is creditor. Now let us go back to the question. What is the answer? This is the answer. That means debtor benefits, creditor doesn't benefit. This is previous year question. So what is happening? Whenever you read any question, inflation is a concept. Recollect the concept. And what are we trying to do? We are applying the concept. Therefore, in the mathematics terminology, we are solving the question. Okay. Since this is the beginning introduction, I have given a lengthy explanation. But generally, what do we do? Debtor benefits. How much time it takes to answer this question if you got conceptual clarity? Less than 10 seconds. Right? That means economy, if the conceptual clarity is there with the student and the student is revising class notes, reading current affairs, practicing prelims questions or test papers here, then easily you can answer these questions. The moment you don't understand who is debtor, who is creditor, what is inflation, the same question is very tough for the student. Now, let us change the question. Let us improvise it. If inflation is increased by X percent, and creditor is charging x minus 1%, then who will benefit? X minus 1%. My interest rate is 9%, inflation is 10%. I said inflation is x%, x is 10. I'm charging interest rate of x minus 1. That means 9%. Who benefits? Again, debtor benefits because of inflation. So, I'm giving you another phrase, extension of the question to confuse you. But convert into number. Examiner may not ask numbers. Say x%, x minus 1%. Then you're supposed to imagine a number. Or examiner says x plus 1% is the interest rate charged. Then who benefits? Creditor. See, with change in question, answer is changing. That means the moment we discuss a concept in the class, the moment we add some current affairs to it, we'll practice some questions. Generally, the questions will not be asked in UPSC the way we discuss in the class. There might be some change in the question. But if we get conceptual clarity, are you able to answer that same question with slight change? Yes. How? Because you got conceptual clarity. Now, UPSC is known for repeating questions regularly. The same question after 2 years was asked in different way. Question is, due to inflation, statement 1, bondholders benefits. Bond sellers benefits. Same question. In earlier question, debtor benefits, creditor benefits. Now, bondholder benefits, bond seller benefits. Try to answer this. Okay. To understand this, again, we need to understand who is a bondholder, who is a bond seller, and already we defined what is inflation. Okay. Now, what is a bond? It is a piece of paper on which some information is written. What's the name? Rakshita. Name is Rakshita. Money invested is 1,000 rupees. Duration is 1 year. Rate of interest is 10%. What do you call this? This is a bond paper. Now, he is a businessman. Okay. Any businessman needs what? Credit. So businessman needs credit. What are the sources of credit to businessmen? ఎక్కడి నుంచి డబ్బులు తెచ్చుకుంటారు? They can borrow from bank. But for this, they need to do something. What is that? Collateral. You need to show some collateral, right? Without collateral, no bank will give you loan, or they can borrow from market. That means they can sell their shares, right? Now, I'm a businessman. ABC, Amitabh Bachchan Corporation is my company. Okay. And I am 100% stakeholder. I am the owner. All the shares are with me. But I need some credit to expand my business. So, if I have to go to bank, I have to put something as collateral. I don't like it. Therefore, I decided to borrow from the market. I can issue shares. Okay. Then, if I issue shares to you, What you get from me?
The holding share.
Holding share. From you, what I get?
Credit.
That means you are lending money to me, right? That means I am borrowing from you by giving you share. Because of this, what will happen to my share value? Decreases. Now, I sold you 10% of my share. Before this, I used to own 100%. Now, I own only 90%. You are 10% shareholder. Because I gave you share, I don't have to return your money. Right? Why? Because you agreed to become part of my company. In this case, there is no profit or loss in the immediate context of borrowing. Okay, if my share price increases, you will benefit, I will benefit. If my share price decreases, you will lose, I will lose. Therefore, the profit depends on the performance of my company. So, bank, market through share. What else is alternative available for businessmen? Debt instrument. What is debt instrument? Bond. Unlike shares, okay, now I said, Rakshita, I need 1,000 rupees. You are ready to give me 1,000 rupees at 10% interest for 1 year. Am I losing my share? Am I losing my ownership? Are you part of my company? You are just an investor. You give me money, I'll give you bond, right? Therefore, in this case, you are giving me money, right? In return, what did I do? After taking money from you, I've given you something. What is that?
Bond.
That means who are you?
Holding.
Bond holder. Who am I?
Bond seller.
Seller. Bond seller means company owner, right? I am selling you bond, you are buying it, because of which I am getting money. Who is borrower? That means I am also debtor, right? That means bond seller or debtor. Who are you?
Bond.
Bond holder. That means you gave money to me. When somebody gives money to other person, what do you call that person? Creditor. Bond holder is also called as creditor. Forget about the details of interest and inflation rate. Who benefits? Same question in a different debtor, right? Now, if you don't relate debtor, creditor, inflation, profit concept to bondholder or bond concept, again you find this question as a separate different question. Okay, the moment you get to know bond seller is nothing but a debtor, bondholder is nothing but a creditor, the question becomes easy. Okay, so if examiner has given you the details, inflation is 7%, interest offered on bond is 10%. Who benefits? Inflation is 7%. Interest offered is 10%. You will benefit. Why? That means who are you? That means the answer is bondholder. If there is no mention about the numbers, then the answer is. So what is happening? The same question can be twisted and asked in a different way, but the concept remains the same. Apply the concept. Are you getting the answer or not? We did not discuss what is inflation. We did not discuss types of inflation. We did not discuss factors that cause inflation. We did not discuss measures to tackle inflation, role of RBI in tackling inflation. But still, we are able to answer this question. So, the reason for explaining these two kinds of questions is to make you understand the importance of conceptual clarity in economy. The moment you get clarity, this is how you solve questions in the examination. Okay. Now, apart from this, let us come to mains exam. Okay. For mains, again, go through syllabus. It is well defined this time. If you got syllabus line, check it. In this case, examiner has clearly mentioned about the syllabus. And then you check previous year questions. Then you get to know within the syllabus how the questions are being asked. Is examiner directly asking questions, or is he interrelating the concept in the syllabus to current affairs or to any of the current challenge in economy? Accordingly prepare the syllabus. Okay. Then what about answer writing? In prelims, as I said, if you have conceptual clarity, you can answer the questions. But how to write a relevant answer, decent answer in economy part? Any answer writing depends on two things. One is content, other one is presentation. Between the two, examiner looks at which one? Obviously, this is the thing that is in front of the examiner, and according to the presentation of the candidate, examiner will give you marks. But presentation depends on the content you possess. And what are the sources for content again? Class notes, current affairs, and standard books or some reports. So this is how you got the content. Then how do you present the content? Always presentation should be in a structured format. What do you mean by this? Start with the definition. For example, in the recent times, or the question is, inflation is a necessary evil in Indian economy. Comment. What do you mean by necessary evil? You can't live with it. You can't live with it. You can't live without it. You can't live with it. You can't live without it. What do you mean by this? Undali, undakkarledu. Kavali, vaddu. Tricky situation, right? So the question is, inflation is a double-edged sword or a necessary evil. The question is, the question tag is comment. Now, what is the key word in the entire statement? Therefore, answer should be by writing the definition part. You define what is inflation to the examiner. Okay. Then there are two parts in the question: necessary evil or double-edged sword. These are some phrases in English. Interpret them. That means inflation is essential or inflation is good. At the same time, inflation is bad. So there are two arguments to the question. Now the second part should be explain to the examiner about positive impact of inflation in economy. Okay. Third part of the answer. First part is definition of inflation. Second part is explaining the positive impact of inflation, or why inflation is good or why inflation is necessary, etc. Third part is explain why inflation is bad. And then last thing, conclusion. So 4 parts of the answer. Let us try to answer this question, though we have not done anything, though we have not started economy class. Here, positives of inflation. Here, negatives of inflation. Again, let us build content. Okay, what is inflation? Increase in price. What are the positives behind increase in price?
Wastage can be reduced.
How? By increasing price, how do you reduce wastage?
Maybe they will buy how much is sufficient amount of the commodity.
That means unnecessary goods are not purchased. Okay, keeping that aside, what do you mean that for a particular good, price is increasing?
Less product.
Less production or more demand, right? That means for any good over a period of time, do you eat non-veg? No. Paneer? Okay. What is the price of paneer in 2010, 15, 20, 23? Is it increasing? Why?
Demand is increasing.
Demand is increasing, population is increasing. When population is increasing, people demand more goods because we need to consume goods to survive. Therefore, when demand is increasing, price is increasing. Because of which, what happens?
The price.
There is a particular good, okay? Its demand is increasing, therefore its price is increasing. I am the producer of the good. What would be my thought process for the future? Should I increase production or should I keep my production at the same level?
You think of keeping it the same way.
Why?
The demand will be.
Oh, if I increase production, people buy more because there is demand in the market. మీరు పన్నీర్ తింటున్నారు, నేను తింటున్నా. Therefore, what do? I increase my production. How to increase production? I have to hire more labor. Hiring more labor means what? Increasing employment in economy. It also means decrease in unemployment in economy. For example, I hired more labor. By the end of the day or by the end of the month, what do they get?
So they get salary.
They get wages or they get salary. After getting wage, what do?
They'll buy goods.
They buy goods. Whatever they buy, its demand again is increasing. And the producer of these goods again will increase production. To increase production, you need more.
Labor.
What is happening? A virtuous cycle is set in motion. That means inflation is not always bad. As I said, increase in production, right? Right? What is GDP? Gross domestic product. The definition is total value of all the goods and services produced in an economy within a period of 1 year. Today, I have produced goods worth 1 lakh crore. As I said, because of inflation, demand is increasing, my production is increasing. In next year, I produced goods worth 1.2 lakh crore. My GDP growth rate is increasing. And why it is increasing? The question is, if there is no inflation, what do you mean by that? Price is
Stable.
static or stable. When the price is static or stable, Will I produce more goods? Will there be any necessity? It doesn't make any sense. If my production is not increasing and my production is also static or stagnant, does it do any good to my economy? If my production is stagnant, there will be no GDP growth rate. That means GDP growth rate is zero. That means economy is not growing, rather it is stagnant. In stagnant economy, what will happen to unemployment? When unemployment increases, what will happen to consumption? Consumption means goods you buy reduces. What do you call that state of life? Poverty. Poverty is a challenge in any economy. Unemployment is a challenge in any economy. Therefore, if there is no demand, if there is no price rise, if there is no inflation, what is happening to economy? The economy is challenged by increasing unemployment, increasing poverty. Therefore, inflation is not always bad. We proved this statement. Therefore, the positives are increase in inflation is a sign of growth. It creates job opportunities. It reduces unemployment. It reduces poverty. It increases consumption pattern. Right? So, half of the answer is done. I'm just giving a glimpse of the content. Come to this side. Is inflation good all the time? No. Why? We said price rise. Price rise is inflation. If this is within the affordable range, it is good. For example, say, do you eat egg? Okay. Milk. What is the price of milk packet in your childhood? 1 liter. 10 rupees. Today it is 40 rupees. Let us use a round figure. It took some 20 years to increase price by 30 rupees. Per year, 1.5 rupee price is increased. Is it affordable or unaffordable? Affordable. Today it is 40. For example, tomorrow you go to more supermarket, Ratnadeep supermarket, you want to buy milk, Country Delight, they say it is 80. Every day you buy 2 liters of milk. By looking at this, what do? You buy only 1 liter or 1.5 liter. That means if the increase in price is beyond affordable range, you deliberately try to reduce consumption of that good. When you reduce consumption of that good, that means demand is decreasing. When demand is decreasing, will you produce more goods? No. When you don't produce more goods, what happens to employment opportunities, poverty, consumption in the economy? Increases, poverty increases, consumption decreases. This is how we need to write balanced content. Okay. In India, this is the acceptable range of inflation. 4 plus 2% or 4 minus 2%. 4 plus 2 is? 4 minus 2 is? If inflation is anywhere between 2 to 6% in the economy, this will happen. If it goes beyond 6%, this will happen. What is happening to tomato price now? 50, 60, 100, 120. Are we buying same quantity of tomatoes? Why? We reduced. For example, in a curry, if you are chopping 4 tomatoes, now you are chopping only 2. And we are using alternative tamarind paste. టొమాటో పులుపు కోసమే కదా వేసేది, ఆర్ సాస్ వాట్ ఎవర్, పల్పీ వాట్ ఎవర్. వాట్ ఆర్ వి ట్రైంగ్ టు డూ? Reduce consumption. Since you are middle class woman, you can reduce consumption. What about poor? Zero tomato. That means if inflation is beyond 6%, it is hitting poor hard. And in India, look into the poverty ratio and look into the levels of income. Who are more? Lower middle class poor are more, upper middle class rich are very less. Therefore, if it goes beyond 6%, it is a challenge to most of the people in the economy, particularly poor. Therefore, government has to take necessary steps. Then, last thing, how do you write conclusion to this? Always, the last part of your answer in mains is a conclusion. How do you write a conclusion? And remember, conclusion should be very balanced. It should be optimistic, and it would be practical. So in the conclusion, we need to bring in monetary policy plus fiscal policy interventions to keep inflation within the acceptable range of 2 to 6%. So I am giving you the solution how to keep inflation within 2 to 6%. If you keep 2 to 6% of inflation, already I have explained what are the benefits because of it. This is how you write the answer. So I hope you got some clarity about how to read economy for prelims, mains, and what are the areas you need to focus on, what is the syllabus, PYQs, etc. Okay, we'll begin the class tomorrow. Okay, in the next schedule. Okay, see you tomorrow.